Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Adventures with Mike and Brian, episode 8, in fact. And today, Brian and I are excited to be joined by our first ever guest star, the seminarian Crest Turner, who's going to be with St. Aloysius Church over the next couple months. So, Brian, we finally get to bring some extra talent into the to the show.
I know, it's exciting.
Talent, that's a loose term here.
Well, we're trying to build you up.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Our bar is kind of low. You can
First one, yeah.
So yeah, we're excited just to kind of have a conversation. I promised some of our people who asked, what's the next episode going to be like, and I'm just like, well, we're going to try to sit down and have a conversation with Chris. So in some ways, is this episode 8 or is it episode 1 of Conversations with Mike and Brian? So,
yeah.
It's like a spin-off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
a weekly talk show.
Petticoat Junction is a spin-off of Green Acres. That's a shout out to some of our older viewers there. We'll get that reference. Kids, ask your grandparents. They'll understand that reference. They'll understand that reference. This is why I promised them that we would make sure to get some hard-hitting questions into to Chris. So, Chris, I guess, first question. So, what is your favorite color and why? So, we're going to just start with philosophy right off the get-go.
Yeah, the answer's not very deep.
No?
I really like blue.
Blue?
And I like blue because I really like the ocean or water.
Okay.
I love being in the water.
Well, plus Mary's color, right?
That would be the better answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's because I really like the ocean and blue. But I like Mary too. So, yeah.
See, but do you realize you're signing up for a life where you're going to be largely monochromatic with black and white?
I know, it's true. But, I've seen a lot of churches, and I think St. Al's is this way, where, like, the ceiling has that blue with, like, some stars. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. A little greenish. Maybe, perhaps in the future, we can get that refurbished.
Yeah, the ceiling over the pews. But, Brian, a lot less green than it used to be.
Yeah. Yes, so I've heard.
It's a beautiful church. I just like I like walking in and just seeing it every day.
Yeah. It's I think a lot of and I love showing it. We had our it was the net team here do our confirmation retreat every year, and able to bring them in and show them the church off, and they were just blown away.
Yeah.
Because you don't really expect it, Bowling Green, Ohio, and we've got this just beautiful mural in church, and then the connection to the cathedral. Felix Leaf Tucker, the same guy that did the cathedral's sanctuary mural, also was the artist that did ours. So I think it takes a lot of people by surprise, and it adds to the wow factor. So I love bringing people in, and I said, okay, go stand out in the church, and then I go back in the sacristy, and then I just put up the lights and kind of blow them away.
Yeah, I'd love to introduce that to a whole bunch of people. I mean, those little packets that we used to have, that I think I still have a couple copies that just describe everything in the church.
All the different.
I'll have to get you a copy because it is gorgeous.
Right, all the iconography and the
explanations of everything. Yeah, it's great. I'll have to find that.
Definitely.
So Chris, when you were...
I guess what follows color.
Well,
maybe.
You got it.
What's your favorite food?
Which is a good question for us to ask because, as when you were introduced to the parish this last weekend, you made it one of your goals to get as much free food as possible.
I don't think I've paid for a meal in several days.
Wow,
it's been great. It's been really great. And I feel like as a staff, we eat a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good too.
A lot together, too.
Yeah, which is great. So dessert-wise, pie.
You're a pie guy.
I love pie. Gosh, almost any kind of pie except pecan pie.
Not a pecan pie.
Or pecan, depending on how you say it.
Right. Brian, there's a reaction over there. I gotta... as he slugs down the last of his coffee.
Pecan pie
but, parishioners, I'm open if you have a pecan pie recipe that you're like, it'll change his mind. I'm open.
Yeah.
Me and Brian will also not have a problem with pecan pie showing up here that Chris rejects.
We had rhubarb pie this week. It was delicious.
It was good.
Yeah, delicious.
Rhubarb's my favorite.
Yeah.
Rhubarb's your favorite? So because that's the thing with pies is it falls into a different dichotomy because there's your fruit pies, but then there's like pecan pie and like Boston cream pie.
I'm the fruit.
You're a fruit pie
so like
guy.
apple, pumpkin. That's a fruit, right? No.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cherry pie. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Pumpkin pie is so underrated.
It
for a
is.
lot of people.
And I only have
don't
a
know
one
why.
like a 1 month a year kind of like. It would be weird if you serve pumpkin pie in the summer,
unfortunately,
which is kind of
Well, I've seen it. Pumpkin pie is one of those you can have any time of the year, but only before 9 a.m. for a breakfast. Nice, cold, out of the fridge.
yeah, it would need to be cold.
what
Mhm.
Yeah.
You've never. You go to.
you make it seem like that's a thing.
It is. Go to any small diner,
Okay.
and they will always have pumpkin pie early in the morning.
Here in Bowling Green, can you prove it?
In my experience, I guess
I mean, I guess we're gonna
check.
have to go
I
to a
guess now
diner.
we have to prove
See,
this
and that's
theory.
another
guess
free
so.
meal. It's
Yeah.
just it works.
Pumpkin pie is delicious.
Well, we don't dispute that, but I didn't know that there was this. Like you're not allowed to wear white after Labor Day. You're not
yeah.
allowed to have pie after
No,
nothing.
no, it's-
and he made it seem
it's
like it
really-
was a thing.
I mean, it's really great, cold and right in the morning. It's delicious.
Well, I understand this because my grandfather, and I get this from him, is he's a big breakfast guy. And I mean, I'm the same way. I love breakfast, love brunch. You fill me up with a good breakfast, I'm good till 6 o'clock that night. But my grandfather, he's a farmer. He always talks about power breakfast, which is pretty much like all breakfast foods that you could imagine heaped together, 4 or 5 cups of coffee, and then topped off with a slice of pie.
And you're ready to go.
That is his power breakfast. But farmer, you eat that first thing in the morning, and then you're plowing till 8, 9 o'clock at night. Then you can go back out, turn the lights on.
Yeah.
So you're more of the, because again, I think we have to be specific with pies because there's this dichotomy that happens with pie. Like honestly, even Boston cream pie, there's nothing pie about that.
Yeah, and that I wouldn't go in that direction. I'd go more in the because then if it's a fruit, it's also healthy.
We also have
Right,
that
yeah.
right.
Yeah, make it a pie and makes a pie healthy.
Now it's checking a food group, not the sugar. It's the fruit.
Yeah.
Then I should be an Olympic athlete.
Yes, that's true. You and your bananas.
Yeah.
So
Along with carrots.
So you're a dessert guy, but what about like a pizza, hot dogs? What about like meat and potatoes type stuff?
So I'm not picky when it comes to food.
Yeah.
Fish is really not my thing.
Ooh, boy.
Because I didn't grow up with it.
Okay.
Like my dad doesn't like it, so but I'm slowly working my way into fish. But if you could give me like a good steak, and here's the unpopular opinion, I really like A1 sauce. And I know most
nothing wrong with that.
people that make steaks, you put A1 sauce on it and it's like an insult.
Yeah.
But I love a good A1 sauce.
But here's the thing: I don't think they should be mutually exclusive because I think a really good steak, A1 was made to cover up a lot of bad steak.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you still can't like that taste on a good steak. So I'm with you.
But like, if I order a steak at a restaurant and I like have to whisper it, I'm like, can I have the A1 sauce?
Yeah.
Because like the chef, I'm afraid he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
spit on my food.
Well, yeah, you ask for it after it's arrived.
yeah,
Yeah.
the food's already here.
Yeah. All right. Now, okay. This is mine now. Then yes, for the.
But not picky. Like when it comes to food, I'm normally good.
So we start off with these hard hitting questions. But so Chris Turner, seminarian, Diocese of Toledo, home parish St. John the 23rd, right? Going to seminary down in Cincinnati. Any other background knowledge that we should know about you, or you are willing to disclose to the people?
Yeah. So I from Perrysburg, Ohio, went to Central Catholic. Then after that, went to Ohio State. And
Ohio State.
TOSU, and my major is in hotel resort hospitality management, so nothing like not the next step to the priesthood normally.
I mean, all roads lead to Rome, right?
That's right. And this one, it's a side street. It's an alley. It's not normally taken.
But that sounds like a fun degree, though. I'm sure there are things there that are going to apply.
I loved it, and so in a sense, I think the church should be the most hospitable place in the world, right? And often it's not, or at least that's what some people say. And so if we can make it that, maybe God knew what He was doing to give me that background to help with that.
So was that a 4-year program at OSU?
Yeah, 4-year program, a lot of internships. I think it was like 5 or 6 internships through it, because that's where you get your.
Yeah, you can talk about being nice all day, but go and be.
But my favorite internship was I did it every summer in college. I worked at Maumee Bay State Park, and I worked in the campground and did check-ins. and I loved it. I got a walkie-talkie and a ranger hat. So, I mean, like, it's really all I needed.
Yeah.
But, yesterday we had some severe thunderstorms,
Right.
and I remember one day at Mommy Bay, I looked outside, and the sky was green, and I'm like, this is not good in a campground.
Oh.
A tornado warning is not good in a campground,
Mm-hmm.
and because there's really nowhere to go.
No.
And I remember, being in the shower house, kind of hugging a toilet, and because like that was the only thing anchored to the ground,
Yeah.
and that was like the one scary day. But every other day, it was awesome.
Well, that could be a lot of fun. Well, especially working in because I worked at a resort growing up too, is that people want to come and have a good time, and you're there to help them have a good time.
Exactly.
You can really have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it was a great place to work.
Still have any pull over at Mommy State Bay? Maybe get us some passes or some free rooms or something.
Yeah.
So here's the sad thing: the resort is separate from the campground, so I don't. And the campground's actually closed right now. They're putting in new electric there, so you can't even stay there. But it's a beautiful park.
Let's say we didn't try, Brian.
No more adventures there.
They are building though a 22-person cabin there right now. Like they're calling it a reunion cabin. So for groups.
Wow.
So if you're looking for like a group stay, you can go there.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any immediate plans.
Mm. Okay, so now we know where you live.
Yep.
What brought you to the seminary?
Vocation story, if you will.
Sure, yeah. I immediately, so I was planning on using that degree, that hospitality management degree.
Makes sense.
And right before I was going to graduate, Ohio State, I think, ended school in early June, and we went on spring break in late April. So they were very close.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on a spring break mission trip to a camp I had never heard of at the time. It's called Camp Cove, Crest.
That's down in Georgia?
Georgia youth ministry camp, so summer camp. And we were scheduled to build houses. In fact, we did build cabins while we were there. The cabins are still standing. I'm worried about them because, I was building them. And I look at them now and I'm like, yeah, that board's a little crooked. That was me. But while we built those cabins down there, while I was down there, I got this sense that God was asking me to be a youth minister
Just
instead.
out of the blue?
It wasn't like an audible voice. I mean, if he speaks to you that way, that's awesome. But not really like to me.
No.
But it was just this like kind of deep sense I was supposed to do it. And you might think it was like this beautiful moment where I like knelt and I was like, yes, Lord, happy to do your will. But it wasn't like that at all. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I told him all these reasons. Like I had these plans, I had a job lined up, everything was going to go fine. But he kind of kept asking. And so I prayed this like very dangerous prayer that I dare people to pray, but not lightly. I said, God, if you want me to do this, make it painfully obvious. Amen. And I didn't tell anybody about this, so I wasn't like advertising it.
Sure.
So then I came home from this mission trip, and 2 weeks later, a priest friend that I knew from high school called, and he's like, hey, Chris, I'm becoming a pastor, and I know we've never talked about this before, but would you ever want to be my youth minister?
Boom!
And so at that point, I had to... I dropped...
Thanks for being obvious, guys.
Yeah, I dropped the phone. I literally think I dropped the phone, and I quit that job, and I actually went back to Georgia for a year to train as a youth minister, and then went to a parish in Toledo for 2 years to work at his parish, and then moved back to Georgia.
So then that's the back to Georgia and down to Atlanta connection.
Yeah, and so then I was working at this parish in Toledo, loving it, but a job opened up with Life Teen, who owns that camp, as their events director, which is kind of the merging of youth ministry and hospitality management to be events director.
True.
I was 24 at the time, highly unqualified for this job. I was so young that one of my jobs was to rent rental cars for like the events, and I couldn't even rent rental cars yet. And I was like, I had the degree, but
Right.
I think the events part was like one class. So like unqualified, but I moved to Atlanta for that job, and I started volunteering at a parish while I was there, and I loved that job, but this parish I started volunteering at was like the most amazing parish I think I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Um,
And was this in like an Atlanta suburb?
yeah,
or?
just where I lived, and it actually was the current president of Life Teen. He was the youth minister there before, so they have this kind of rich history of youth ministry, and it was a parish that decided to prioritize youth ministry like I've never seen before. 3 full-time youth ministers and about 600 kids a week. So kids were just everywhere. And as I volunteered there, I became one of those, and you guys know it, like super volunteers, where I was like, because I just loved being there, and I was like, I can't keep being events director and volunteering at this parish. Something has to go. And so I was like, what would that be? And I was like, there's something about being at a parish like this that I want. And so they had a position that opened up, and so I actually went to that parish. And while I was at that parish, that's where I really fell in love with parish life. Not just in youth ministry, but they let me be on pastoral council, and they let me give talks, and we had 4 priests there, and so I got to see the life of a priest. And so while I was there, the idea of being a priest kind of came up, and I'll be honest with you, I was kind of dragging my feet because I just like being at this parish.
Well, yeah, you're enjoying it. You feel fulfilled in some way.
And I wasn't going to leave. Like, people saw the vocation in me way earlier than I did. I had good priest friends. I wanted to be in the parish. I wanted to help. All these kind of signs. But I was just dragging my feet. And then there was one day, and I was in a middle school small group, and a middle school boys 7th grade small group. And no offense to my middle school boys who are in 7th grade, but they're typically not the easiest small group. They're crazy, actually.
My experience as well.
But they're fun. And so one of my favorite questions to ask middle schoolers is, what do you see the future of the church? Where do you see the future of the church? Because, when you ask people like us or adults, a lot of times they say things like, oh, I'm worried, or it's getting smaller, or what are we going to do?
Sure, that's common.
Yeah, it's common, right? Well, this kid, and I don't think he even knows it. I think his name was Addison. He doesn't even know he had this impact on me. I've never told him. He said, oh, the church will just keep getting bigger and better like it always has. And I thought to myself, why did he say that? And he said that because that was true at his church. And then I asked myself, who helps make that happen at a local level? A pastor. And in that moment, kind of my heart started burning, and I knew that's what I was supposed to do.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All from a middle school small group.
Yeah, great. From the 7th graders.
Well, from the mouths of children.
And he's in high school now. Yeah, he's in high school now, and
but it's true,
active
though.
in the program.
It's true, though, because, it's like, well, if this parish can grow, so can other parishes.
We were so ordinary. I looked at our staff at this parish, and I'm like, this is not because of high talent. This is just like faithfulness to a mission and going for it and striving for excellence, and it was so fun.
I mean, that's Jesus and the apostles, right?
Yeah,
His
exactly.
cast of characters.
Exactly.
I got fishermen and tax collectors, and one of these guys is going to stab me in the back. Going to start the greatest institution on earth.
Yeah, I look around and I'm like, oh, okay, Lord, this is what you're working with. But it was so fun.
So what did that transition look like from this vibrant parish you were at, you doing youth ministry, to then the transition to seminary life, and also the discernment of, was it ever a thought about going to seminary down in Georgia, or was it always, no, I'm going to go back home? What was that thought process like?
Well, the transition was hard. For me, all transitions are hard. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
So you're human, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I really hate transitions because if I'm uncomfortable, for example, when I leave here in the summer, I know the first few weeks of August back at the seminary are going to be hard. Yeah. It's like that every year. It's just so the transition was difficult. The nice thing was, the other youth ministers there I still know, so I had a connection with them still, and at this particular parish, we really did a lot of mentorship, so we would walk with individuals,
sure,
and everybody would walk with 4 or 5, but if you have a lot of volunteers, everybody's covered. So I continued to walk with them, the ones that had graduated and gone to college, so that was kind of a nice bridge, but it was difficult. I do volunteer at a parish in Cincinnati, so there's still some links and stuff like that. But in terms of going to the Archdiocese of Atlanta or here, while I loved living in Atlanta, and I did, and I'm grateful because I learned a lot there that I think the Lord might be calling me to take here, right?
Undoubtedly.
It's still, this is always home.
Okay.
I always knew that this was home, even as much as I liked it there. So, yeah, there was never really a thought in terms of going to seminary there because I knew this was home.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of the seminary, I knew you by just a couple days before you came up here because I went down to the seminary through Father Tom, and Father Tom was your Dean of Men
He was our dean of men. Some people called him the dean of mean.
Dean
I
of
would
mean.
never call him
Yeah.
that, but yeah, he was.
Right.
It kind of sounds like you just said it.
He was always very good to me. But if you messed up,
Yeah.
Father Tom is gonna call you on it.
I can.
He called me
easily see
Christopher at seminary.
that.
Christopher.
He calls me Chris now, so I think we moved to the next phase. But it was Christopher then.
But you kind of know if Christopher comes out, you may like stiffen a little.
Right,
bit.
or it's like, am I in trouble? Yeah, so.
Yeah. So, what do you see? How is he different now than he was in the seminary?
Well, there's a lot of similarities. That dry sense of humor,
catchphrases,
his
and whatnot.
catchphrases,
Yeah.
they're the same. I would say he's the same Father Tom. Homilies are similar. They're really good. But they're, he's also concise.
He's much shorter.
He's on time, for example. Those things are the same.
We should have him listen to. That predates you, even Father Tom's first homily, because it was genius, and it was quite funny. He did a lot of humor, but the whole premise was that he has followed Father Mark in several different other things in his life and his ministry, whether at Little Flower or at Seminary, and I think there was another connection too. But the whole shtick of it was, I am shorter. And it kept coming back to, but I am shorter, including
that is awesome.
that his homily was then shorter. I mean, people stood up and clapped. I mean, it was. We're gonna have you listen to that. I think you would
that
appreciate
is awesome.
it. Yeah, he killed it the first week.
Wow.
It was
Yeah,
great.
I like it.
Yeah, I'll share it with you guys too. I'll have I'll get with John Author. We'll dig it out. So anyway, but yeah, seminary versus parish Father Tom.
I think he smiles more here.
I hope Brian and I have something to do with that.
Yeah, yeah, we like to say we do.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't told me otherwise, so yeah, it could be true. So I would say it's the same Father Tom, but a even more, may I use the word joyful?
Oh, I don't know.
Father Tom.
Definitely in his own way, for sure.
Yep.
But, yeah, so the seminary was pretty fun while I stayed there for a couple days.
We had fun you being down there.
What is your favorite part about being at the seminary?
I would say definitely the brotherhood.
Oh, the camaraderie.
Yeah, because you all live together, and so you have 100 brothers now, and even the ability to like have different experiences or go places with brothers. Like every first week of August, there's a group of us that goes to a new national park.
Mm-hmm.
Second annual this year. Last year we went to Rocky Mountain. This year we're going to Glacier. So traditions like that, and just being able to go places and spend time together. I thought one of my worries before I went to seminary was that I was going to be lonely or bored, and I wish I had more alone time and more downtime. I feel like there's constantly something going on, and I have to like fight for time. I will say 12:30 to 2 is blocked out for me. It's sacred time. It's like the sacred nap time. Seminary naps are a really big deal. Everybody takes naps because you wake up so early.
Well, you got to get up early.
You wake up Jesus in the morning. Right? I mean, it is so early.
Are they awake down there? I guess I better show up.
He has to come out of the tabernacle and he's like really like this early.
Why,
so
guys?
it's so early. So naps are a beautiful thing. So you have to like fight for that time because it's just there's always something going on.
So talk to us a little bit. It doesn't have to be a blow by blow, but a lot of people aren't familiar with what a day in the life of a seminary looks like.
Yeah.
What is that timeline? What does that flow look like? I mean, I'm familiar with it. My brother was in the seminary. He's a priest now. Brian, you've lived down there now for
a couple days.
You know what it looks like.
A couple days of bliss.
Yeah.
But what does that flow look like day wise?
It is rhythmed, and that's kind of a beautiful thing too. On my worst day at seminary, there's 3 hours of prayer.
Yeah.
So like, for those that aren't in a seminary, I really look to like average parishioners as heroes, the ones that pray, because they have a billion other things going on, and they're choosing to do it. For us,
it's built in.
It's easier in a lot of ways. So I wake up at 5:30 each day. From 5:30 to 6, I take a shower and wake up and brush my teeth, and I move slow. And we've got
moving pretty good.
Fantastic hot water.
Yeah.
So it's great. And then from 6 to 6:30, I drink coffee in my chair and watch the news and read the newspaper. I turn into a elderly man. It's wonderful.
No, this is so you're well rounded. You're prepared. You're already prepared for what everybody's going to talk about that day.
Yeah, and I read the Blade actually.
Do you really?
Yeah, on my iPad. So just to get a little
Nice.
Toledo, yeah. And then 6:30 to 7:30 we do morning prayer and mass. Normally, it depends the day, but normally 7:30 to 8 breakfast, and normally the 8 to noon block is either meetings or classes.
Right.
Most of the mornings are heavy on classes. Some days and then the noon we have midday prayer and lunch, and then the glorious nap.
Yes, that 12:30 to 2
Yeah.
blocked out time.
And not the whole time as a nap, but you gotta like get ready for the nap. And, yeah.
Pre and post nap.
Yes,
I also, for a Secret Santa this year, got as a Christmas gift an old Super Nintendo set.
Oh, nice.
So I'll do a little Super Nintendo 3, and it's really small now and it plugs into your TV. Anyway, it's great. So I'll do a little bit of that.
You may have to bring that by sometime.
It's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
I haven't beat level 8 yet. I'm stuck on level 8.
We gotta take you. Have you been to Rock'em Sock'em yet?
No, but I've heard. Yeah,
Retro video game store in town.
I would love it.
I haven't heard of
Great.
it.
Oh yeah, it's a great place to go. You go in. I think the guy's name is John. He'll talk to you all day. They've got everything. It's great.
That's awesome.
Really fun place.
So then afternoon, I do
After he finishes taking his nap, I
Yes.
playing video games.
I block out a lot of homework time in the afternoon. And then we'll have a holy hour and then dinner. And then in the evening, it's anywhere from playing ultimate frisbee to doing homework to going out to dinner to going on a run. It's varied. And then we have night prayer at 9. And then some nights after night prayer, the bar opens. We've got a seminary bar.
Absolutely.
So we'll either go to somebody's room or go to the bar, have a little nightcap, and then my goal is bed at 10:30. So
That's
that
not terrible.
so
You're
that's
getting up at 5:30.
7 hours, yeah. 7's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
So that's the day in the life. As you can see, they're full days.
They're full days, but I think that's helpful because it's just college with prayer time built in, really, and then some of the formational stuff.
It's a lot. I mean, we still have exams. We still have grades. Yeah, so the college... The nice thing, though, is in terms of, professors and people, everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
When it comes to classes. It's the teachings of the church. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Sure.
Which is really nice. Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for your first hard question?
Ready? Grilling.
First. Okay. So, you said you love parish life.
I do.
Great. What do you think of St. Alice? What were your first few thoughts when you first arrived?
So before I arrived, I was worried because I was like, is this going to be the summer where nothing happens? Because we had just finished COVID stuff.
Right.
And I was like...
That's a legitimate concern.
It is,
right,
for sure.
And I had 2 really good assignments before this, and I was like, is it going to not... Because I had expectations then. But then, by the first day... And the first day I was here, I think was, the first day that everybody started coming back and things started...
Yes.
So there was just a ton of activity. And also, there was just a lot of staff. And so I remember going home the first day being like, this was a fantastic day. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And here's the thing, I don't have a lot of responsibilities. I just get to experience a lot. So I feel like I have the best of both worlds. I get to just help with certain little areas, and I am not just saying this because I'm on camera. I thoroughly enjoy every day.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
I thoroughly enjoy every day.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been here a week and a half, and we're already so how
Yeah,
are we
I was
doing?
gonna say, how long has he been here?
No, I know, it seems like I've been here for a while.
But it's a week and a half,
Yeah.
right?
It's just a week and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only 8 weeks total, so we're
true.
a fourth of it is almost done.
Wow.
That's true. Well, I mean, it's the summer. Summer just do
Yeah.
not.
Summers, yeah.
Man,
Bye.
I don't know about you guys, but this year just... Every day was just the same day. Really. It just blends
Well,
together.
there from mid-March to mid-May, it was pretty much almost every day. Was
Right,
identical.
and there was there was a lot of good that happened in quarantine, but it was almost like you feel like you lost part of your spring, in that it was just it skipped a lot,
Oh yeah, I mean it's this void of time. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ryan and I were plenty busy. I mean, there was so much going on here at the parish, and every day we'd come up with a new plan, or this is what we're going to do it, and by the 2 o'clock news conference, we had to scrap it and start over again.
Yeah, we got it down 3 months in, but it took almost that entire time to figure out a good way to go about things during this
Well, it was a case where it's the analogy's not perfect, but you're playing the game, but the rules of the game keep changing.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially those early days. I remember every day things were changing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we had a case where, like you had alluded to, everybody had come back kind of July 1 or June 1st when you arrived. But yeah, there for a while it was me, Brian, and Father Tom every day.
Right.
And kind of interspersing of other staff members here and there.
Yeah,
And,
while they work from home and play, you can't really do the organ from home, and
No.
can't really. Man, there's just a lot of stuff that's just behind the screen that. These last 3-4 months have been crazy.
mhm.
I will say this though, as things have started opening up, I am appreciating it more.
Oh.
Mhm.
Going out to eat was nice before.
Mhm.
Now even just meeting with people, I thoroughly enjoy all of it.
Mhm.
Like I had dinner with a parishioner on Sunday, or a family, and like that's awesome. But it was even more awesome this time because
Right.
it's like
Another layer
for
to it.
2 months I wasn't doing anything like that.
Well, yeah, no, for sure, and I think, yes, the coronavirus pandemic, it's taking its toll for sure, but I think God's using it. There is,
Yeah,
I think there is, it's a resetting of society, reprioritizing things, an appreciation of things we took for granted
Right.
before. God, and God's in control. He's definitely using this for His own purposes, and I was gonna say, any other reflections or thoughts that you've kind of occurred to you during this time?
Yeah, I think the other thing is, as I bring back things, I'm somebody that overschedules to the point of not even enjoying things because I'm so overscheduled. I'm just thinking about what's the next thing I have to go to. And so I think for me, I'm going to be very selective and careful on bringing back the right things and not everything.
I think that's very wise and makes a lot of sense. I can certainly relate to the being overbooked.
Yeah.
As well. So we've kind of moved on from seminary, but I can't let this opportunity go. So,
Okay.
of course, Father Tom was your dean of men down there. Do you have any particularly good or entertaining Father Tom stories from seminary?
The one I think of is, everybody's got pet peeves, but one of his big pet peeves was when people parked in the wrong spot. And our
Okay.
seminary has a back lot,
Uh-huh.
which is not convenient, and a front lot, which is very convenient. So it was always tempting to park in the front lot, but we couldn't because guests and visitors and all that stuff. Well, he had a particular few seminarians that were not following the rules with that. Always parked in the front.
Okay.
And so I think he ordered it on Amazon. He finally ordered a boot for cars.
Oh, like one of those you lock on the tires?
So
Oh boy.
so he ordered one, and I think it was more of like a threat because like that way nobody's going to park in the front. Well, somebody did.
Yeah.
And he finally got to use
He
it.
did use it.
And this was the year before I came, but I have been told that there has never been more joy in that man than the day he got to boot a car. And then they had to find him to get the boot removed.
Oh yeah, because he left his phone number, right? Because
I was gonna say, well, how has the legend grown since when you were down there?
so-
No, that's exactly it. He
yes,
left
he
it
left
on
his
the...
phone number. It says either go to the office or call this number to get the boot removed. And when he went to the office, they said to call Father Tom, and I think he worked all day to try not to talk to Father Tom about it.
Yeah, he wanted to try to bypass Father Tom,
Oh, yeah.
but he couldn't.
There's no getting around
That
the
was
boot.
that is a great story for sure.
It's a legendary story.
So this makes a lot of sense. So then, of course, parishioners know we have some difficulties with our college students that live across the street from our parking lot on
Oh,
Summit,
parking, yeah.
abusing the parking lot there. Which on the one hand we don't mind too much as long as they're not there when masses are there.
Sure.
It's Thursday night, fine, but get it out of there in time for mass. We're good neighbors on that. But yeah, that was one of the first things he wanted to crack down on was the parking lot or the abuse of the parking lot. So that actually makes a lot of
Yep.
a lot of
I haven't
sense.
seen it. I haven't seen it yet. If he still has
The
it.
boot.
He kept it at seminary thing.
Oh, do you really?
I think
Oh
he
yeah,
can-
no, that he wanted to hand that on to the next dean of men,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Who hasn't used it? But
That's great.
yeah.
That's really great.
That can be the gift that gets left, and that's the hereditary. It's like the handing of the baton. Here's your parking boot to keep the kids in line.
Exactly.
Kind of a situation. So, a lot of different life experiences for you. Kind of almost in a lot of ways a full life lived already, and on the road to the vocation that God's called you to. But hobbies, interests, things you do for what gives you energy, you know, beyond the spiritual, beyond the pie and prayer. What else is Chris turned
Pie and
into?
So one thing, I just love traveling. I love going to new places.
Okay.
And I love outdoor stuff. So like hiking, climbing, that kind of stuff. For me, it's not just a stress reliever, but I don't need to spend my money on clothes. I'm going to be a boring dresser my whole life, right?
Black and white, baby.
So I would rather spend it on like going places, seeing places, new experiences, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say that would be kind of the top. Yeah, I also really love concerts. So maybe that's why quarantine was so hard. All the things I couldn't do.
Yeah.
You know, so I love concerts. Those kind of things is where I would prioritize my time.
So what kind of music are you into? I imagine as a youth minister you've had your extra heavy helping of, you know, praise and worship music.
Sure.
But what's, you know, what do you listen to? What's your stuff? Who are your bands? What albums? What are you listening to?
There's a lot of that. It's weirdly, in the summer, I really like country. There's something about country in the summer because I think it's beautiful. The windows are down.
Hey, I grew up southeastern Ohio.
Yeah,
man. Just radio station. It's all country. That's all you do, man.
And then I'm honestly a sucker for anything catchy.
Yeah.
So if it's catchy, I'm normally gonna like it too. But my favorite band is a band called Hillsong United. I've seen them 9 times.
Yep. 9 times.
9 times. The first time I saw them, free concert, 1,000 seats. The last time I saw them, they beat Elton John and his attendance record in Chicago.
Oh wow.
15,000 people in an arena.
So
they've really grown through it. Yeah, it's been.
Wow.
But you can say, you know, I liked them before they were famous, kind of a thing.
I guess I kind of did, yeah. But I was in the fire exit of that first concert. They just kept loading people in. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, do you have a bucket list of places you want to visit, like travel-wise?
I'm on this national park kick right now,
there's plenty. I mean, United States alone.
And I have pretty much seen none of them on the west. I've done not a lot on the west side of the U.S., so I'm not a huge foreign traveler. Not because I don't like it, but because the U.S. is incredible. So I would like to go to like Yosemite and Zion and Bryce Canyon, those kind of parks. They're next up on our list. I think I'd also really like to go to Hawaii because they say, you know, it snows there. You go from mountains to coast very close, so you can see all of that there. For a long time, I wanted to go to Iceland because they were really cheap flights from the U.S. to Iceland. They've kind of scaled those back, but I think that would be a cool place.
One of my buddies went out to Iceland because they were so cheap.
Yeah.
And then when he got there, between the time he got there and went back, the airline went out of business.
Oh no!
So he couldn't come back for like a month. He had to stay out there and
just hung out in the hot springs for a month.
He spent a lot more money than what he would have if he paid full airline price. But
no, Brian, you didn't offer to go bail him out, go pick him up?
Yeah, if only he knew a pilot.
Yeah, if only he knew a pilot that could go pick him up.
Right.
But that's a long trip.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, your little puddle jumper's not going to get that.
And I think it would be very cool to, you can take a riverboat cruise down the Rhine River through like Germany and like Switzerland and all. I've always wanted to do that too. But my favorite trip is, there's a priest in the diocese named Father Eric Shield, and every year around New Year's we go to the beach. There's 4 of us that go. It's our 7th year in a row. We call it beach ministry.
Beach ministry.
But it's really just going to the beach. And we have there's this group of retired people that are there every year, the same condo complex, and we go there every year. And the first year we went, go down to the hot tub, and we meet a guy. He shakes his hand. He's like, "My name's Bob, but my friends call me Hot Tub Bob." We're like, "Hello, Hot Tub," and he has a hat that says Hot Tub Bob. I mean, this is like
whatever image you have in your head is probably what Hot Tub Bob looks
HTB.
like.
So
HTB.
So anyway, we're in the hot tub with HTB, and he asks us, "Oh, what do you guys do?" And it's the classic question. We all work for the church. I mean, 2 of us are priests, 2 of us are youth ministers or Catholic school teachers, right? And so he's like, "Well, I'm Catholic too." And we're like, "Well, great. Tomorrow is a holy day. It's January 1st. We're having mass in the condo. You could come."
Yeah.
And HTB's like, "I'll be there." And so the next morning, knock on the door. Hot Tub Bob's there. with 25 of his friends.
Oh man!
So they all pack in
Yeah.
for this mass, and Hot Tub Bob in the middle of the mass says, well, it wouldn't be a Catholic mass without a collection. So we do a collection, and there's like $60 in there.
Yeah.
So we proceed to buy steaks with those $60 because he tells us to, you know?
Yeah.
And so now, 7 years in a row, every year we have this mass. Last year we did somebody's 40th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So there's these, they'll be at my ordination.
Yeah.
Like there's these people we've met on this beach ministry trip. And
That
it
is
actually has
great.
turned into beach ministry.
Yeah.
It's not a joke anymore.
No, it really is.
That is great.
So every year, New Year's,
Well,
we have
it-
the same
wow.
condo.
I mean, I'm not surprised that Hot Tub Bob has all kind of friends. Like, let's
Yeah,
be
right.
honest.
Living the dream. So he's from Plymouth, Michigan, and
Yeah.
then he just spends the winter. That's what people do there. They spend the winters down there, and so they expect us now every year, and we spend New Year's, and we bring the average age down significantly.
Wow.
But it's wonderful.
But see, and now, I mean, like you said, it really is beach ministry. Like, we are morally obligated to go. These people are counting on us to bring the sacrament.
And the thing is, the other two are married now, and they'll probably have kids eventually. Their wives know, like, that's just blocked. They don't.
This is non-negotiable.
They don't spend New Year's with their wives. It's just this is the week that. Yeah.
Oh, that is great. No, where is this? Is this like Myrtle or where's
No, it's Florida. It's Jensen Beach, so it'd be
Okay.
like between Miami and Daytona.
Okay.
So it's not like in a very populated area.
Mhm. Which makes it nice.
Which-
I mean, that's...
We kind of like, you know. It's,
yeah.
We just had the craziness of Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and so then we go down there, and it's just quiet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, I've never understood the whole, like, let's go to the beach on 4th of July and hang out with everybody else on the
Yeah.
beach.
Well, right,
No.
exactly.
No, thank you.
Beach ministry.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, next hard question. What's your philosophy in life?
And you have a philosophy of life, an organizing worldview. Brian, you should start thinking what yours is. 'Cause
No.
we'll come back to you.
So I have like a mission for my life. So I'll,
Yeah.
and maybe that'll answer it. I'm not sure.
Oh, I think it will. Yeah.
And I think once I figured this out, it kind of helped me make decisions like on what I was going to prioritize. So I think for me, my mission is I just want to get as many possible people to heaven as I can. And so I organize my life like to help do that.
Mhm.
And so however I can do that, the way I do that is I really believe in the power of mentorship. And by mentorship, I mean, I call it double mentorship. Mentoring somebody a little less experienced in the faith while somebody more experienced in the faith is mentoring you. So you have both going on simultaneously. And I believe in the church that mentorship, when it comes to faith, is the solution.
Okay.
I think programs are really great, and I love retreats, and I love events, but I think the people that stick with their faith are the ones that are actively pouring into other people while somebody's pouring into them at the same time.
Well, it makes sense. It's relational. It's always
Yeah.
about relationships. It's always about people, and it's always about relationships.
Yep. And I think as Catholics, for a long time, we haven't emphasized that, but I think there's this new wave of emphasizing that, and so kind of like that middle schooler who said, what's the future of the church going to look like? I actually think I think we're going to enter into a new springtime here soon, because while it might not be as big as it's always been, I think the ones in the pews are going to be pretty amazing and pretty sold out on it, and I'm excited for that.
Well, and I think
That will be exciting.
It will be, but it makes sense. I mean, things are cyclical, right? And I mean, winter is the bleakest right before spring, right? In a lot of ways, right? It's just like, is this ever going to end?
Right.
And it doesn't. Spring always comes, you know. And it always comes exactly when God wants it to. So I think that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
especially with the relationships. I mean, that's been my experience in ministry too. Because it's so much. It's that. Oh wait. I'm not the only one that believes this.
Exactly.
There's another
Yeah.
intelligent person
Yes.
that believes this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And that's where I think my most excited moment as a youth minister was not any of the events or not any of like the retreats. They were great, but I didn't even go to this because it was too early. But we offered at this parish 6:30 a.m. mass and Monday through Friday, and kids started going to the Friday 6:30 a.m. mass, and there was a day that I think like 45 of them went.
Oh, wow.
And the seniors started picking up the freshmen, just loitering at their driveway and then taking them out to to a meal after that before school. And I was like, this is not a fancy program. We're not winning them over. They're choosing to go to mass in the morning, and the older ones are mentoring the younger ones.
Yeah.
And that's all I could ask for, because that to me is like, they get it. They get it. I wasn't there. None of the youth ministers
When
were
it was
there.
organic, it just happened.
Mhm.
And you should have, like, the parishioners, they were like,
What is going on?
I mean, they were,
Yeah.
they were so excited.
Yeah, that's
That is-
awesome.
that is fabulous.
So, shall we round out with the last two easy questions?
What do you think are easy questions here, Brian?
Okay, so what, besides charity, would you do if you won $1 million right now? What's the first thing you'd do?
Yeah.
So it has to be for me?
$1 million,
Yes.
no strings attached.
Yeah.
I mean,
Besides charity, that's always an easy.
right? Yeah, that's easy. Well,
What would you do? Would you get a car?
Not a car.
would you help Brian buy a car?
Yeah.
I will, but not with, well, no, I wouldn't. Not with my money. That's charity.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian's the charity case over here.
So I told you I'm all, like, the experiences and the
I was
travel.
gonna guess.
Mhm.
I would split. I would have a beach house ready and, like, a mountain house. So
Ooh.
So, like,
Mm.
skiing in the winter. So I'd probably do
That's
one up
great.
in northern Michigan, and I'd probably do one, like, in Florida. And so I could go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I would probably, yeah, with that.
And that's not selfish because you would share that with others.
Yeah, I'm all about, sharing the experience. But yeah, that's what I would do.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd
Good.
probably do one where it wasn't me that, like, it was like a condo thing, so they take care of it, and so I can just show up.
Oh, so yeah,
Yeah.
no maintenance. Just
I'm not mowing the
show
lawn.
up.
I'm not mowing the lawn down there.
I,
Yeah.
I unlock the door and there's beer in the refrigerator already. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite movie or movie series?
Good way to put that because a lot of times it's a series.
Yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan.
You're Star Wars?
Always.
That's number one for you?
Yep. Number one. Easy.
I love Tom Hanks. He's my favorite actor.
Oh yeah.
So I loved the movie Sully,
Sully?
the one where he landed
Okay.
the plane, and I
Yeah.
also love Bridge of Spies. Those are my two favorite.
That movie is super underrated.
He-
Go watch that movie.
Yeah.
He is like, he can do any act. I mean, he can do any role.
I mean, he really can.
And he recovered from coronavirus. It's been a rough
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Can't kill Tom Hanks.
Mhm.
No, but that Bridge of Spies, me being a Cold War historian.
Oh,
by
it's
training,
awesome.
Like, that is...
The scenes where he's sick and he's going into the enemy territory are
Brian,
just,
yeah.
oh, it's so classic.
My,
Awesome. Yeah.
it's hard for me because there's different series and things I like watch like when you were 12 versus now. I think my all-time favorite is still the original 1960 Magnificent Seven, the Western movie with Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen. It's
I don't
so good.
know. I don't know.
It's an Americanized version of the Seven Samurai, originally a Japanese, I think, book and then movie. But basically the premise is that there's this village down in Mexico that's being oppressed by this basically warlord, and the villagers hire 7 American gunmen, cowboys, for basically peanuts to come and protect them. And what that give and take looks like, and the growth of the characters. And I also love movies that it starts off by like assembling the team.
Yeah.
Whether that's Avengers
Yeah.
or what's the casino robbery one?
Oh.
The Ocean series,
Yeah,
like Ocean's
yeah.
11. I love movies where it's assemble the crew and then go do the mission. And that one, it's one of my. I mean, it is my all-time favorite.
Awesome.
Elmer Bernstein does the
Okay.
musical score for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We should watch it sometime. Starts out a little bit slow, but
I don't mind
so
slow.
Good. So good. That's my all. And I was raised on John Wayne and Western and all
Me
that.
too. Chisholm.
Oh
I-
yes,
Love Chisholm.
that's a great movie. There's some
Me and my
great.
dad, great quality time.
There's some great lines in Chisholm.
Oh, Chisholm, yeah.
Me and my brother will quote.
Or McClintock, that's another right, yeah.
McClintock's hilarious. But Chisholm, there's a line in there where it kind of starts. The first part of that movie is all building up to the party that John Wayne's throwing for his
Right.
niece that's just come into town, it's just there's these like random people that just keep getting invited to it. And at one point, John Wayne's sidekick, I think his name's Pepper, looks at somebody else and says, "Man, there's gonna be a lot of interesting people at that party." Because of all the, like, Billy the Kid's gonna be there, Pat Garrett's gonna be there, all these different characters are showing up there, and me and my brother will quote that to each other when we're going to a party. There's gonna be a lot of interesting people at that party.
I'm singing, like, the song in my head.
Chisholm, John
John
Chisholm.
Chisholm.
Yeah. No, that one.
If you need anybody for the
Yeah.
fire, let us
Sounds good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Good and bad days.
he had to stand next to me at the seminary, and I was like, "I'm sorry, this is a bad first experience."
So do you also have Father Tom disease where you can't sing?
I have a milder case.
A milder case?
Yeah, but
his is terminal.
His is terminal. We have to cantor twice a year, every seminary.
That's right. You have, yeah.
So,
really?
which was initially like freaked me out, but it's good.
But it's good.
Yeah,
Makes you do that.
I'm like not the worst, not the best, which is exactly where I don't want. You don't want to be memorable.
No.
Normally
Either way.
Yeah.
Because then people expect it, or they're like, Joey's cantering today.
Yeah.
Show up. It's gonna be good.
Turn the mic off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Chris,
Awesome.
thanks for spending this time with us. So
My pleasure.
We've enjoyed this conversations with Mike and Brian. Brian, I don't know what else we got in the works. Hopefully, some other adventures coming up.
I know we've got a couple that are really, really fun.
Yeah.
Coronavirus related, so we'll get them in as soon as possible. But,
Yeah, we'll have to wait till things clear up a little bit more.
But we'll have some fun.
Yeah, Chris, it's been great having you around here just for a week and a half, and I'm sure we'll have other adventures or misadventures or things we do together. So
often misadventures.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging out with us, and tune in for next time. And thanks for watching for this episode of Conversations with Mike.
And Brian.
See y'all.
And Chris.
Yeah, and Chris.